The previous research we made was how the infrastructure and traffic culture of Guadalajara affects the traffic according to Tech Millennials community. In this research, we are using the scientific field of sociology to solve this problem, because we want to know how the society thinks about this topic. The objective of this research is to know the opinion and the way of thinking of our community about this problem, that is the traffic and infrastructure of the city. This will proceed to a search of solutions to answer the problem. The approach we used was quantitative because the data gathered from sources will help us to make polls and interviews with the people to know their opinions. To support the research, we needed to gather more information about the topic, but there were no information about Tech Millennials traffic, so we found some information about Guadalajara, including sources like Gobierno de Jalisco, Universidad de Guadalajara, El Informador, Tráfico ZMG, between some other sources. Our hypothesis is that we believe that the main problem perceived by the Tech Millennial community is the poor infrastructure and lack of road culture present in the city, and the main solution found would be to improve the streets and public transport. Our main variables are the people interviewed and time. Depending on the people we interview is how accurate your investigation will be. Time is very important as well, because in which those people are, this could be the rush hours, morning or night. This gives us a way to detect at what time the problem increases. As we said before, the strategy we chose was quantitative because of the nature of the data we collect. Prove our hypothesis. This research is non-experimental because we didn't use experiment and we observed the topic from the nature, without intervention to obtain the most reliable information we can have. This investigation we started observing and gathering information from all the city of Guadalajara, but we needed to make it smaller, so we choose to obtain data from people our age that attend to Tech Millennia because it's a faster and simpler way. We estimate to gather information and opinions from around 30 classmates of all type and gender on the age of 15 to 18. The sampling we used was a non-probability because we choose the individuals according to their needs. The principal instrument that we choose to gather information was polls. We used questions that cover all the subjects we needed. This allowed us to gather more information in a faster way. As a result, we compiled this data obtained in pie charts. This makes it easy to study them. Due to the advantages of the internet, we uploaded our polls on Google to make it easy to access for our population. The results of our polls. The first question says that, do you think the school traffic is good? The majority of the people said no. The second question says, do you think that the infrastructure of the school is good? And also the majority of the people said no, with a 56%, and only a 44% said yes. The third question says, do you think it is right for people to leave their children in prohibited areas? The majority of the people said no. This one is the bigger majority with 80%, and only 20% said yes. The fourth question says, do you think it is right for people to park in prohibited areas? And also, an overstanding majority says no, with 88% with no and only 12% yes. The fifth question says, should there be transit agents to coordinate the school traffic? The majority also said yes with 80% and only 20% with no. Sixth question says, should there be exclusive parking slot for teachers? And the majority said yes with 78% and only 32% said no. Seventh question says, should there be penalties for drivers who don't park backwards? The majority said no, with the little majority with only 56% said no and 44% said yes. The eighth question said, should there be parking slot for loading and unloading trucks? And the majority said yes, an overwhelming majority of 92%, oh my god, and only 8% said no. Oh, this one is a good chart. Ninth question said, should works that interrupt traffic be done in vacation or in classes? The majority said in vacations with 88% and only 12% said in classes. Third question says, should the exit to Constituent Avenue be extended? And the overwhelming majority of 96% said yes, and only 4% said no. Based on our experiences and the opinion of the people we polled, we can see that the traffic in the school is very bad, because it is poorly organized. This could be solved with some measurements previously set, Like the possibility of implementing them has to be analyzed, perhaps in the future with surveys carried out by the school itself. These and other problems could be solved. Thank you.
Based on our studies about traffic in tech millennial, there can be made other researches about what solutions proposed by tech millennials community could work in the CMG. Inaccuracy of traffic forecast and cost of estimates on large transport projects. Could possible that the government made the public works in times when there isn't too much people in the streets. How traffic affects economy and real-world carbon dioxide impact in traffic congestion. With our results, we found some new measurements that could help reducing the traffic congestion, lowering the emissions of CO2 and other gases of the greenhouse effect. Our research may change the traffic culture in the CMG, and later, thanks to the measurements we found, could help reducing the traffic congestion. Maybe those measurements could solve the problem of traffic in our city. People who refuse to follow the traffic rules and they think that's cool because stricter laws and traffic would be applied and the mordida will be most likely gone. Our team and I are hoping that all of the citizens from Jalisco start noticing the problems with driving at different hours and building different things, different times, and hopefully this will help the transit of Jalisco and make this city way more easy to drive and less contaminated.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, we confuse science with the real world.